Ashley here with HeartHookHome.com, and today we are going to learn how to crochet the Almond Ridges crochet stitch. This is a beautiful, beautiful crochet stitch that we will be using in a pattern on Heart Hook Home soon. And all you need to know in order to make these is how to do a slip stitch and how to make half double crochet stitches. It's a beautiful, fun, easy stitch to work up, and we will be learning this today. I am using Dishy worsted weight cotton. This is a beautiful cotton. It's very nice and soft. This is what I am using in my washcloth series on Heart Hook Home for the year of 2020. I have my jalapeno color on a cone here, and I absolutely love this color. It's so bright and vivid green, and it absolutely reminds me of jalapenos. So I have gone ahead and done a chain here for our tutorial. For your own chain, if you're making it in a different size than I am, you are going to want to have a multiple of 8 plus 5. So you can have 16, 24, however many you want, and then add 5 onto that. So for this one, I have 21 stitches here. So that's 8 times 2 plus 5. So I've got 21, and we are ready to work our foundation row. Here I have my 21 chains that we are going to be working at today. I'm going to find the second chain from my hook, and I'm going to do a slip stitch in it. So I'm going to look at the back side of this second chain right here, and I'm going to do a slip stitch. It's important that these slip stitches aren't super tight because you're going to need to work into them in the next row, so make sure that this is not super tight. So there's my first slip stitch. I'm going to do 3 more so that I have 4 in a row. So here's number 2. And I'm just picking up that back bar for this foundation row. There's number 3, and this will be my 4th. Now I'm going to do 4 half double crochets in the next 4 chains. So 1 half double, and then another, this will be 3 and 4. Now that we've got 4 half double crochets, we're going to do 4 slip stitches. Now that I've got 4 slip stitches, I'm going to do 4 half double crochets. So you're just alternating these 4 slip stitches, 4 half double, 4 slip, 4 half double. Now that I only have 4 stitches left, I'm going to slip stitch in each of those. Here's my 4th and final. Something to note throughout this entire pattern is that if you start a row with slip stitches, you're going to end that row with slip stitches. And alternately, here in a moment, when we start a row with half double crochet, we'll end the row with half double crochet. So here so far, we've got 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. We are ready for the next row. I'm going to chain 1 and turn so that I'm looking at the back side. And now for the rest of the entire pattern, every single row from here on out, you're only going to be working into the back loop only. So if you look at a crochet stitch, you see you've got this V. So this is the front loop, the one that is closest to you, and then the back loop is the one that's farthest away from you. So now for the next row, we are going to slip stitch in 1, 2, 3, 4, then half double crochet in 4, slip stitch in 4, half double crochet in 4, and slip stitch in 4, all the way to the end of the row. So I'm going to start with my first slip stitch in this guy right here. This is my first stitch of the row, and I'm going to do a slip stitch, and I'm not going to do it super tight. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I'm going to half double crochet in the next 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, Isn't that nice? Now I'm going to slip stitch in the next 4. Half double crochet in the next 4, and remember we're still only going into the back loop only for this entire pattern. It's going to give it those nice ridges that we see on the front when we're done. Now we started this row with 4 slip stitches, so we're going to end with 4 slip stitches in these last 4 little stitches here. So we've got 1, 2, and then 3 and 4. I will say that on the last stitch of every row, I like to go into both sides. I feel like it keeps the side from getting really big holes on the side. So that's the only stitch I do through both loops the entire pattern. So at the end of your first row, you should have this little swoopy thing going on, right? So now that we have 2 rows that both start with slip stitches and end with slip stitches, now we're going to do 2 rows that both start with half double crochet and end with half double crochet. And that's all we're doing for the entirety of this pattern. We're doing 2 rows of slip stitches that start, and then 2 rows of half double, 2 rows of slip stitches, 2 rows of half double. So that's it, right? As long as you can do your half double and your slip stitches. So now in order to start the next row, I'm going to chain 1 and turn. This is going to be a half double crochet row. And remember, we're always still going into the back loop only. So I'm going to do my half double in the back loop of that first stitch right there. So that'll be number 1. Number 2 goes in the back loop of that next stitch. 3, and then 4. Now that I've got my 4 half double crochets, I'm ready for 4 slip stitches. So that is literally all you're doing. And remember to keep your slip stitches a little bit on the loose side. You don't want them so loose that you create big holes, but you also need them to be big enough so that you can work back into them, because right now I'm getting ready to do half double crochets in these slip stitches, and if these are super tight from the last row, it's going to be a pain in the butt to get in those. So just make sure that on your slip stitches you're not pulling it really tight. So I'm doing my 4 half doubles. Now I'm going to do 4 slip stitches. And now since I started this row with half double crochets, I'm going to end this row with half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and on mine, I like to go into both loops for the last stitch. I just think it makes it look a lot cleaner on the sides. Remember, that's a slip stitch, so it's a little bit harder to get into. Okay, so there we have an HDC row. So now we're going to add another half double crochet on top of this. Chain 1 and turn, and we're doing back loop only. So here's the first stitch right here. So we're going to do this whole row, start with half double and end with half double. I'm going to go through both sides of that last stitch just because I like to. All right, now let's take a look at what we've got. We have, there we go, get it to lighten up a little bit. So we've got what we started with. We've got our slip stitches. This is 2 rows of slip stitches and then 2 rows of half double crochet. Now I know that just by looking at this, once you get going, it'll make more sense to you as well. Let's see if I can make that a little bit brighter. Okay, so these are our 2 rows of slip stitches. This is half double crochet, half double crochet. Since I know that now I have 2 half doubles on top of each other, I know that my next 2 rows are going to start with slip stitches. So it's going to be slip stitches, and then in these downs, these are going to be half double crochets on the next 2 rows. So you're creating this little almond shape on top of this right here. So that's all you're doing the entire pattern is you're alternating how you start those rows. 2 rows start with slip stitches and end with slip stitches, and then the next 2 rows start with half double crochet and end with half double crochet, and that's all you're doing. You're alternating those 4 rows for the entirety of your pattern. It creates such a lovely effect. Let's look at this finished product again. It creates that lovely swoopy effect, right? And then this is the back side. The back side looks more like a brick almost, but it's still kind of pretty itself. It would make for a great blanket, a baby blanket or something like that, since it is not very holdy, and it's just got that great effect to it. And I love the way the light plays off of it. It's just very beautiful stitch. So I hope you enjoyed learning the Almond Ridges crochet stitch with me today. I look forward to crocheting with you soon. Thanks for watching.